open. And by the looks of it, we have ourselves a nice one. So let's put away our Joker and Gav cards back in their box. And let's begin our night of Solitaire. So we continue on our journey to 1000 with yet another simple and sweet Talio deck. A new Talio deck. Coming up, we have our 650 special, and another special shortly after that, which is exciting. So let's just throw some side shuffles here and deal out game number 1. As we start with a 2. So, we have our 650 special coming up, which I'm still deciding on. But there is the other special I've been waiting for. Is it just me, or do some of these cards seem different once they're placed down on their back design? It's as if they have a darker shade to them, or maybe it's just an illusion. Interesting start to our night for sure, but we can work with it. Anyway, as I was saying, as we have some stacks developing. Oh, my bad. I knew I was missing something. Our other special is continuing our special tradition of celebrating for example, the 333 special, the 444 special, and so on. Since we're in the 600s, our 666 special is going to be very interesting, and one I didn't know what we're going to do for a while. And then about 2 months ago, I figured out what we're going to do, and I am excited, and it's quite fitting, come to think of it. So I hope you enjoy that when it comes out, but for now, let's continue through our episodes. Till then, as it looks like we have an abrupt ending to our first game of the night. Triples will do that to you, and it looks like we came victim to triple sevens, as there's nowhere for that 10, 2, 4, 5, jack, 3, 2, and lastly, queen. Is it just me, or does it feel like we don't get twos in our hand too often? The field, yes, but in our hand, that feels still relatively new, even after this many. Let's see if any triplets are hiding out in this one. Surprisingly, just missed them. Alright, let's do a casino shuffle. feels as if there is a bit of a rise on the edges, if that makes any sense. I guess picture a flat surface like this. Now, imagine there are slight ridges upwards each direction to where it makes a little bit of a plateau inwards on each side, but very minimal and only noticeable to the touch. So very unusual, but it actually provides decent control. I doubt that was on purpose. What did I just do? 3, 3, 3. Okay, I think I went one extra. So that 10. Sorry, I just, for some reason, completely lost track of what we were doing. But we are good. And we continue to make plays. I think we might get a fat stack this game. What do you think? Add to some of our stats earlier rather than later. And okay, a green 7 would be good, and a black 6. Actually, I think, if anything, it's on the back side of the card with that texture I mentioned. Makes it easier to do the flipping. Not like it needs to be much easier, but I think you got the point. So it actually might be annoying for something that's not solitaire. Whatever. As it looks like, let's see, did we have any triplets? Nope, but we did have double 7s once again. On to game number 3, relatively quickly. As there's nowhere for the queen, jack, king, 10, 7 or 10. Lots of high cards in our hand with nowhere to go. A nice dark green color to the deck. Bamboo. I guess it makes sense for the deck art. It's hard to go wrong with the Tally-Ho deck, as we narrowly avoid a triplet once again. So I think we'll just give this a solid 7. Nothing wowing, nothing bad. Just slightly better than average for the most part. It's still crazy thinking, though we don't really have a new Tally-Ho deck in our collection. I think a new one will come out soon. Some point maybe. Our most recent decks that we received that were Tally-Ho were the Butterfly and Flower decks. Those were absolutely stunning, if you remember. Just something to be enjoyed. So anything else that comes in will be new after those two. But for now, let's focus on our third game and see if we can turn around our luck in game number 3. I've been thinking, what can we talk about bamboo in this video? well as, do you own anything that's bamboo? So I asked myself those questions, and it was a blank for a long time. Nothing really relevant or relatable, but now I got one for each. So, when I hear the word bamboo, I think of the movie Rush Hour, a pleasant little trilogy of movies from the early 2000s to or late 90s to mid 2000s with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. I just remember Chris Tucker, I think, yelling at Jackie about bamboo, and then one of them getting hit in the groin by a bamboo stick. And there would be many points of combat. That's what it is. So in one scene, I think the Jackie Chan character jumps off of a building and he aims for some bamboo. And right before he says bamboo, very strong. And as soon as Chris Tucker jumps, he lands on the bamboo and it instantly starts giving, and he just starts screaming. And then Chris Tucker's character, named Carter, starts cursing him out while he's falling, supposedly to his doom. And the bamboo catches himself, I think, on like the 8th notch down the fall. And the bamboo ended up saving him in his escape, but made him quite scared. And I think Jackie Chan's character, Lee, had no issue. Yeah, a very poor description of the movie. It's honestly hard to describe an action sequence while playing a game of solitaire, especially when you don't really remember it. But I just remember Chris Tucker's distinguishable voice going, ah, and then Jackie Chan's sweaty faces in the movies, as we have our first fat stacks to our left. And this, during that poor narration of what happened, we'll keep it. It's a different game. That's what I was trying to say. Alright. Do we have a chance? We put down that queen. And I don't think we can get to that jack, so nowhere for that 7 or 10. Clubs. So let's focus on the focus on the diamonds. Sometimes when I'm tired, I feel like I say focused instead of focus when I'm losing focus. Alright, so now there's nowhere for that 8 or 10. Can't do anything else, I believe. Yeah, that's it. Tough game. We could play that 7, but still, without the black 6 to help out, we only have the 1. We can't make another play that matters. Yeah, I thought I made a mistake, but don't worry, we're good to move on to our 4th game. So that was the first part. When I hear bamboo, I think of Rush Hour, Chris Tucker's wide-eyed scream, and Jackie What do you own that's bamboo? Nothing anymore. Really. But I used to, and I have a story with it. So we'll do a little more of the casino shuffle and then we'll get into that story. Alright. Do I own anything that's bamboo? As a kid, growing up in school and just around, you would always hear bamboo is the strongest wood around. Now, why would that matter to a kid? Well, as some of you know, I like to play baseball, especially as a kid. And I found the sound of an aluminum bat absolutely repulsive with that high-pitched ding. So whenever possible, in a game I would play with a wood bat. If not a wood bat, in a game I would always practice with it. I have no idea what that noise was. So your guess is as good as mine. Anyway. So that bamboo bat. So knowing that was the strongest wood, one year for my birthday I saved up and got myself a nice black Mizuno bamboo bat. As we have triple queens, I believe I picked Mizuno and triple nines because I think one of the best hitters around at the time was Ichiro Suzuki, and I think he used a Mizuno bat. I could be wrong, and I feel like I'm wrong. That is just an awful field right now. Anyway, so I just got the bat. I think this was 3rd grade. And just for a little more context, when you play in a league, they want you to use aluminum bats because they're safer, they don't break. And since they don't break, if you were to swing a wooden bat and it could break and hit the pitcher and possibly cut them, bruise them. But realistically, kids don't generate that much power to do anything to cause serious injury like you see at the professional level. But just for safety concerns, you typically not allowed. But word got around that I would always practice with it, and it sounds much better than aluminum bat. Some coaches would prefer, well, they wouldn't mind if I used a wooden bat as opposed to the aluminum. So in some games I would use it and I'd never break it just because it's not really, it's kind of hard to break a bat when you practice a lot. So now with that backstory, back to 3rd grade, my friend and I play in the same league, and I don't hate to admit it, I always rubbed it in his face. Actually, I didn't, surprisingly, but I was a far better hitter than my friend, much stronger. I think just all around, because he didn't like baseball as much as I did. So it just goes to make sense. And his dad would always want us 3 to go practice, which we did. We would play games. So that was a weekend routine for the most part, going to practice with my friend and his dad, which was really fun. So one day after I told him I got a new bat, he said, why don't we go to the batting cage? And So I did that. I don't think I made contact the first time because wooden bat, undeveloped body, kind of hard to get coordination. Fat stack number 2, and I think that was our third play. But I went to, I think, 50 and I hit every pitch because that's what you do. Go harder, then go easy to know your skill level. And the bat was nice and made a good sound. It felt good coming off, and it felt durable. And my friend, being how he is, wanted to use my bat, and I thought, oh, sure, why not? It's a strong bat, nothing should happen. I think the first swing he makes, he breaks the bat, and I was completely devastated. Now, I wasn't one to really show emotion, but I was just kind of like, damn. And I think his dad noticed that. As we get fat stack number 3, and with number 3 we have won our first game of the night on a pretty smooth win all around. Anyway, I was all excited for my bat. He broke it on like the first swing he took, and I was just thinking, well, there goes $90+ And as a kid, saving $90 is ridiculously hard. So I got my bat back from him, looked at it, saw a clear break point that was pretty much nothing you could do about it. I'd like to try scavenging my broken bats with duct tape, but that was so bad, no chance possible. His dad offered to buy me a new bat as we have all of the spades, ace to king, but I just said, it's like, okay, it was an accident. He insisted, but I still rejected, and I don't know why I did. I wanted a new bat. All of the hearts and diamonds. Let's do our victory shuffle. And that was my bamboo bat that lasted me maybe 5 minutes in the cage as we have a great start to our victory shuffle. Ooh, almost. And we recover at the aces, but let's look at this first part. Heart diamond, almost all the way through, but a very good victory shuffle. And since then, I never bought a new bat that was made of bamboo. I think one of my Asian friends would say the same thing. We would watch Rush Hour together, because back in the earlier 2000s, they would have movie channels that would rerun the same movies quite a bit, like Austin Powers and Rush Hour. And for those of you who don't know, you probably do, but just in case you don't, well, yeah, that might be different. California has a fairly large Asian population, and that changes the more you move towards Central America, North America, and not as much typically towards the East Coast as the West Coast, just because the Pacific Ocean borders Asia and North America. Anyway, but Asian parents around where I'm at, and from what I know from my friends, is they're pretty laid back and relaxed with American culture, movies, especially TV shows, and don't really have boundaries for their kids in what they watch. And which is fine by me. I was pretty much the same way growing up. And good start. We would watch a lot of movies at his place that most parents wouldn't let their kids watch at our age at all, or until like late high school. So we'd watch all the fun stuff with fighting, blood, nudity. Every once in a while, when I'd go over to his house, was I going with this? Oh, just explaining like the differences there. So it's very influenced into American culture, and their beliefs are pretty solid to what their stance is. And he convinced me to get the bamboo bat as well, I believe. And he always used the bamboo bat when playing baseball. Once again, triplets. And since then I never got it. But I forgot the relevance of that story. But anyway, I had another friend later in high school who didn't really play baseball, but he practiced and helped me out a lot. Very awesome friend. And he was brought up very Asian, I should say. And he got the bamboo bats because he said it's the best wood around, that type of thing. And I told him, man, you don't know what you're talking about, but he bought himself like a $300 bat. And I think within the first 5 swings, he broke it. And you know when you see your friend's face when they made a big mistake, and they can't, like, reverse it, triple tens now. My oh my. That's what I saw, which was pretty funny, but you know when it's a friend, you can laugh at their mistakes. Yeah, I'm having a tough time staying on track with these plays that we've been having so far in the past 2 games. So if you're ever gonna get a baseball bat, don't get bamboo. And also, if you're a beginner, don't go spending something, and whatever it is, top dollar at first when you're learning, because in moments like that, you could say with my first friend who wasn't as practiced as me, with my most recent friend I spoke of, who didn't practice much besides at a higher level. I think about it kind of like, it sounds lame, but an art of hitting, a style, as that is our third play, I believe. It's a craft in how you move, so the more practiced you are in your craft, the better you are. So don't start with something that's really expensive, because it might be great quality, but it's only as great as in the hands you put it in. So that's why whenever I don't go hitting for a while, or practicing, I don't use an expensive bat, I use a cheap bat, so in case I feel off, or I don't know I'm off, I break a cheaper bat, as opposed to an expensive one. Because we all like to think we're much better than we are at points. Sometimes we are, sometimes we're not. But no use in letting pride take too much of the wheel. That's for Jesus. Okay. So that's the end of the line there. Put down that jack. We probably shouldn't have put down that jack. Okay. So now we have a chance of going back to back. But a situation we're in, as Yoda would say. But that situation will lead us to our back-to-back wins. Alright, my friend, we have just had our second and final win of the night. A nice stat to wrap up on. My bad for the poor stories tonight. Trust me, I'm not a bad storyteller. It's just when there are very active games happening, both resulting in wins, especially, it's harder to keep a linear train of thought while doing this. Especially when you're tired and recovering from being sick like I am. Maybe I'll do some sort of podcast with stories like that, but that seems kinda niche, but Who knows? Maybe someday. Alright, all of the spades, clubs, hearts, and diamonds once again, ace to king. Let's shuffle them up for our victory shuffle one last time as we wrap up our night. Quite fine. And once again, all of the green cards doubled up without a hitch. Let's see if we made it to about at the same spot and about the same result. Actually, is that the same thing as our first time? You'd know better than me. Anyway, that is it for tonight. What a way to wrap it up. Hard as bamboo is the code word. Good wood is another code word or secret word for the night. We had some good wood tonight. The Tally-Ho bamboo deck really shined, and my friend, that is it. Please have yourself a relaxing remainder of your night. Many sweet dreams.